Beautiful January winter day here in Georgia. It is? Okay. So today's the feast day of the conversion of St. Paul, and the beauty of St. Paul is just that he was such a wicked man, right? He was hunting down Christians. He was putting them to death. He was slaughtering them. He was martyring them. And then God calls to him, right? And has this profound conversion experience where he's knocked off his horse. Everybody wants a conversion like St. Paul. Everybody wants to be hit upside the head by God with a 4x4 and said, hey, wake up. But it doesn't happen like that for all of us, right? For many, it's a much more subtle calling. For many, it's a much simpler thing. And my favorite part of the conversion of St. Paul is not just the profound conversion that he has, but how he's helped. Right? God calls Ananias. God calls Ananias and says, hey, I need you to go and help Paul, right? Or Saul. And Ananias is like, wait a minute, God, he's a bad dude. He's here to kill us. That's his job, right? That's what he's been sent to do. And God reassures Ananias. He said, you'll be fine. You're going to be protected. I'm going to protect you. And it was Ananias who was able to lead Paul through his conversion. And it was through him laying his hands on Saul that the scales fell away from his eyes, right? And so while many of us want to be like Paul, we want to have this profound conversion experience, God calls us to be like Ananias. God calls us to be that assistant in the conversion process for others. God calls us to be the one who helps others to regain their sight, who helps others to see the Lord. And so in our own lives, we have to ask ourselves, are we listening for the voice of God? Are we aware of the ways that God is calling us to help others in their conversion, right? To help others to be able to see Him, to help others to be able to do His will. For us to do God's will, we have to be alert and we have to be attentive. We have to be listening. We have to ask ourselves, okay, what are the things in my life that need to change? That I'm not going to get knocked upside the head by God to know that I'm not going to be thrown off a horse, that I'm not going to be stricken blind. What do I need to change? What do I need to do better? If I can do those things first, then I'm going to be able to more clearly hear the voice of God so that I may help others in their conversion. I think a lot of us have the temptation to just think, I'm done with conversion, right? I'm here. I came to Mass in the pouring down rain. What more conversion can I have? But indeed, all of us can continue to grow deeper and deeper in love with God. We can grow deeper and deeper in our relationship with Him. We look to St. Paul and we see this great apostle, this great evangelist, this great proclaimer of the gospel, right? More of the writings of the New Testament are St. Paul's writings than anyone else. He went all over on missionary journeys. He went and spread the gospel. He went and converted pagans, right? He was the apostle to the Gentiles. He went all throughout the world to proclaim the gospel after having gone throughout the area to suppress the gospel. And if it weren't for Ananias, we wouldn't have Paul. So in our own lives, we have to ask ourselves, how could I possibly be the Ananias to a Paul? How could I be the one who helps somebody else to hear the gospel so that that person may go and do great things? So on this feast day of the conversion of St. Paul, let us ask his intercession that we may continue to proclaim the gospel, that we may preach the good news, and that we may assist others in hearing the voice of God, just as Ananias did for Paul.